Hello, we're going to get into the July and Christmas and the letters to Santa that Joe Biden is writing and the letters to Santa that Kamala is writing and that little baby pillow that Trump is sleeping on for that band age. And that band age is that ding, 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 or that trumpets, that Trump ET. Oh, the Space Force? Oh. Well, I think you missed that one. Well, it sounded pretty loudly to me. But, trumpets were playing from 2016 to now, kind of. But, the Trump and Pence come together every now and then and dinglehopper it. But, we got some notes today to keep us on track. And we're almost to that 35 trillion mark on the old debt ceiling. And the debt ceiling backwards is that T-bed, that Trump's bed for that second coming, because he's coming back, and the dawn means the Lord. So this is the second coming of the Lord. And as he's the Lord of Lords, and you don't know you're the Lord of Lords, you're about to get fucked. Okay? So this is where all this stuff is just there to show you, because we're in a spiritual to a carnal, and the carnal Jews believe that Bible literally. Okay? But when and if that Bible ever turns so-called literal, will be the time that carnal Jew says, shit, we are left behind. Shit, that is Satan. Where's Jesus? Where's the rider in the clouds? Where's the cloud at? All I see is rain. And the rain's coming. Hell, almighty Trump. And hell is in the bondage of man. So the letters, the lead, ears, the letters, the mail, Ishmael, Moby Dick. All right. Biden said the other day, little boy from Scranton with a stutter. It's part of that Moses being given that gift to speak through the air on, and when the air is on, he comes to life and starts speaking. So, also the Iran and the Aaron is the AA for the American Airlines, and Joseph Robinetta Biden equals 747. So that's that plane that's going to crash and burn for that 47 coming up, and those types of things. But either way, folks, so the lead ears, the letters, all right, that open fire. Okay, this is part of that lead and the open fire being brought forth to place the stockings over. Okay, so that open fire is when they get that lump of coal, in a matter of speaking, they will rise up. All right. So from like this Christmas in July, we've been tracking these things and it's been collapsing. Okay, so if you've been following along, this will make a lot more sense. Christmas in July now, on the 24th, the Netanyahu, the Benjamin, all right, that Ben is that son's jamming on that prime Mary, that Mary for that birth, and the Joe Biden, that Joseph, is the one who's taking Mary to the end, all right, so that's the end, and then you have Kamala coming in, and she came in on the 25th, that's the birth. Okay, so this is going to take us into Christmas time, all right, And the things we see here, the 25th Amendment, all right? And then today, on the 26th, they're talking about Gavin Newsom can't run with Kamala because of the 12th Amendment. So that'd be the first day of the 12 days of Christmas coming up. And that Newsom, that noose for that cowboy to get those Beast Boys, all right? So, and also you can tie the rope or the noose around the bricks. Many uses for a noose, and the news on, the fake news on, and those types of things. So we got spy stuff coming up. People in masks, that marks where you have Halloween and Christmas. Halloween, we can do all things or whatever. You got the mask, okay? Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's the basis of this little divide, okay? The sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's just all been placed to you by the church, by the world, by TV, by the radio, okay? So all these things are brainwashing a society. So as all these things are going on, it's forming a nation. And as that nation forms, it's going to break off from the nation who can do all things. And those things that are being done are there to test your freedoms, to test the Baal worship, and to make that nation, all right? So this is where we're going to see that divide in the Baals and the ballots and such when the so-called Baal worship, the religions, the old candlestick breaks off from the new America, the new lights that are starting, okay? And you've been told about all these things in your own American history, all right? And it's replaying. So the Mike Johnson, he is a custom amp made for Trump, okay? And there are seamless stills coming within seamless stills. And Kamala can come in and steal the presidency from Joe Biden, per se, with the 25th Amendment. And we can see this lining up in a certain spectrum. And then the Mike Johnson, he can come in and do a play against Kamala and Biden, okay? And that is where you can see the custom amplification coming in, where they're turning it up to 11 on Spinal Tap, okay? And that 11 is for the 47 that you're under right now, and that bankruptcy 11 is coming for the nation, and that's with that 35 trillion or 36 trillion or whatever. I expect it to shake at one spot and then it'll be yanked maybe later, but they may just do it all one switch, okay? And as they do that one switch, the beast are going to stampede, the stamp for the letter, okay? And that red letter edition, that red led her to battle, that Lady Liberty. So she's going to bring that open fire. And Trump stood in the open fire. And this is kind of, that assassination. I told you that there was a assassination going to come years back. And I think there's going to be another one that's going to be a longer shot, personally. But that was part of one of these events that I've told you, where you're going to be shown this event, and then later the people aren't going to know if it's real or not, or whatever. You're gonna look out your window, and that window we talked about with Obama, with that tear coming down on iPad Go, and we're coming up to that winter time. But that window, okay, when you look out that window, and they tell you it's coming, but you just see it on TV, that kind of thing, okay? And this can be kind of that, when that trumpet spoke to me, because I know when that thing happened with Trump's ear, the people who are left behind but getting caught up, okay? They're feeling the trembles of the earth move within them. I think there might be It's possible that there might be some people out there going and staying in these Airbnbs thinking that they might not be going home, or they're leaving their shit behind, and all these things, like going and planning to live in the woods like we did when those trumpets sounded, the world closed down, and the Spirit had me and the family go from here to there all over this nation, and it showed me that this nation is built on these days ahead of us. And the world has been crazy since then. But Mike Johnson, the custom amp, we got seamless steels coming in. Trump, we still got to have that mic pillow, and he's on that little bitty pillow sleeping, okay? But that little pillow is going to grow into a big one with Mike Lindell, that lion. He just called Kamala the lion. That's part of that Lion of Judah coming in. The Judah. For the divine. For the worshipers of Adam. For the last church age of Laodicea. Laodicea is where they go back to the beginning saying amen. Amen. And you got the 25th amendments. Okay. And the 12th amendment mentioned today for the 12 days of Christmas. All right. So the 12 days of Christmas is after, and then 8 days, Jesus is circumcised. So this Jesus being circumcised, remember, Jesus dies on the cross 6 hours after the 6 months up to. So this can be tying into some circumcisions per se. Okay? On the 8 days after the birth, which is the 25th of July and Christmas, okay? And it's going to bring in that heat, because summer's basically kind of just started with the summer solstice, okay? The way they do the seasons with us, it confuses us because they start the seasons early, and the summer is actually spring and summer, and then the summer, as far as like in our mind when school's let out and the way we celebrate it in the heat, okay? We don't celebrate it actually about the solstices or whatever, so it's there that's these things to confuse you and all these other things, but the pillow grabber, that's the red hair and the Esau and these things. So this is tying into where also Will and Harry's starting to get a bigger inheritance or whatever. That's part of that thing going on. And then also the ESV has blued letters. So all those things are tying in together for the ESV, for the electronic, that kind of thing. And then each there's also an amplified version. Just a side note, each version, okay, the KJV is the main script, all right? That's the 9/11 version. And then you have the other ones that play off of that, okay, for the 6 degrees of separation and things like that. But we're going to have to end it because of time.